responded,
"Girl, he never gave me no damn earrings. He probably gave those to Jennifer." Enjoying it. I'm not gonna put nothing extra on it. If he want to marry me, he can get me an apartment building.
Oh, okay. That would be, you don't want a ring, you want an apartment complex.
I'd give me a duplex, an eightplex or something. You know, the homegirls be like, "Where your ring? I thought you was engaged. Where your ring? Where your carrots? Carrots, girl, please. I got units. Knock it off."
I'm gonna do what's good for me and the lady. You know, right now all I want is happiness, good times.
It all kicked off with Tiffany Haddish, and she wasn't holding back. When a fan asked her during a live if she ever got those earrings Common was supposedly supposed to give her, she clapped back instantly. "Girl, he never gave me no." "Damn earrings, he probably gave those to Jennifer." The comment section exploded, and Tiffany, clearly enjoying herself, kept feeding into it. Instead of demanding a ring, she joked that if Common ever wanted to marry her, he could skip the diamond and buy her something real, like an apartment building or even a duplex. She laughed it off like it was nothing, but the undertone was sharp. It was her way of saying she wanted substance, not empty promises. Meanwhile, Common was out here trying to present himself like a man of peace and wisdom. He told the cameras all he wanted was happiness, good times, and calm energy in his life. But right when he was selling that story, whispers began to spread that he had been caught stepping out on Jennifer Hudson. Tiffany Haddish saw her chance and ran with it, clowning Jennifer every chance she got. To her, this was sweet revenge, payback for being replaced and dismissed. She was acting like the definition of a salty ex, but in her mind, this was karma finally coming full circle. Fans couldn't look away. On one side, you had Jennifer Hudson, one of the most respected women in music, trying to build a future with Common. On the other, you had Tiffany Haddish, refusing to let the world forget how quickly Common had moved on from her. And the internet? It was eating up every shady comment, every sly laugh, every jab Tiffany threw. The real shocker wasn't just Tiffany Haddish's comments, it was how perfectly they lined up with what the streets had already been whispering. For months, fans had been warning Jennifer Hudson that Common wasn't the stand-up guy she believed him to be. His romantic history, after all, is a graveyard of high-profile heartbreaks. From Erykah Badu to Serena Williams, Taraji P. Henson, Angela Rye, and Tiffany Haddish herself, the story has always been the same. He starts strong, paints the picture of forever, then bails before things get too real. People were already calling him Mr. Never Settle, and Jennifer's name was just the newest added to the list. But what made this sting harder was timing. Common had just finished doing interviews gushing about Jennifer, calling her not only the prototype, but the person, the one he could actually see himself marrying. He spoke about her with gratitude, respect, and even hinted at a wedding down the line. Fans thought maybe, just maybe, this was the moment he was finally ready to change. So, when cheating rumors broke out almost immediately afterward, it felt like a slap in the face, not just to Jennifer but to everyone who bought into the new Common narrative. Meanwhile, Tiffany Haddish wasn't offering Jennifer sympathy. If anything, she was savoring the moment. Every side comment, every jab about earrings, rings, and apartment buildings became fuel for fans who believed Tiffany had been warning the world all along. To her, this wasn't petty. This was vindication. The way she saw it, Jennifer was learning. The same hard lesson she once had, that Common might talk like a forever man, but his actions scream otherwise. The contradictions were impossible to ignore. On one hand, you had Common sitting in interviews pouring his heart out, calling Jennifer Hudson special, the person, and even thanking God for her. He painted her as his perfect match, hinting that marriage wasn't just possible, it was something he'd genuinely consider. To fans, this was a turning point. After decades of failed high-profile romances, maybe Common had finally found the woman who could settle him down. Jennifer seemed happy, glowing even, and many believed this was her chance at stability after so much past heartbreak. But then came the rumors. Whispers that Common wasn't being faithful, that he was already flaunting another woman. Suddenly, All of his sweet words looked like nothing more than smoke and mirrors. And Tiffany Haddish wasted no time jumping in. Every sly comment, every sarcastic dig, every reminder of her past relationship with Common made the scandal cut even deeper. She wasn't just shading Jennifer. She was pulling back the curtain on Common's entire relationship playbook. To Tiffany, this wasn't heartbreak anymore. It was proof, and fans couldn't help but connect the dots. Tiffany had always hinted that Common's love was more performance than reality. She'd accused him of putting on a show for the public, while giving the bare minimum behind closed doors. Now, with Jennifer facing the same cycle, Tiffany's words felt prophetic. Some even speculated that Tiffany believed Jennifer had been involved with Common while he was still with her, which would make this cheating scandal not just karma, but a twisted case of déjà vu. For Jennifer, though, the pain was real. Reports claimed she was spiraling, blindsided by the betrayal and humiliated by the very public shade Tiffany kept throwing. And the internet. It was divided, some rallying behind Jennifer, others laughing along with Tiffany, and almost everyone side-eyeing Common's so-called changed man routine. For Jennifer Hudson, this wasn't just about gossip. It was about trust being shattered all over again. She's no stranger to heartbreak. Back in 2008, her world was turned upside down when her mother, brother, and young nephew were brutally murdered by her brother-in-law just weeks after she got engaged to David Otunga. That tragedy forced Jennifer to carry grief most people could never imagine. David became her rock at the time, helping her heal, and later they welcomed their son, David Jr. For a moment, it seemed like she'd found her stability. But behind the scenes, cracks began to form. Their wedding never happened, and by 2017, their relationship had collapsed into accusations of harassment, threats, and even emotional abuse. What looked like a fairy tale turned into another painful ending. So when Common came along, fans wanted to believe he was the man who could finally give her peace. His polished words about growth, love, and partnership sounded like exactly what she deserved. He even bragged about learning relationship lessons from Michelle Obama, selling himself as a man finally ready to settle down. But now, with cheating rumors swirling, all of that talk feels hollow. To Jennifer, who has survived unimaginable personal loss and a messy, toxic breakup, this scandal cut deeper than the average celebrity fling. It wasn't just another boyfriend letting her down, it was a man who convinced her and the world that she was his forever. And Tiffany Haddish? She seemed to be enjoying every second of it. To some, her laughter and jabs looked cruel, but to others, it felt like justice. She had warned everyone about Common's patterns, and now that Jennifer was the one dealing with the fallout, Tiffany's comments hit harder than ever. Her shade about rings, earrings, and apartment buildings wasn't just comedy anymore. It was a running commentary on Jennifer's pain. The irony was brutal. Jennifer was hurting. Common was scrambling to protect his image, and Tiffany was clowning both of them from the sidelines. And the internet couldn't look away. By the time the dust started to settle, one thing was crystal clear. This scandal had completely flipped the narrative around Common, Jennifer Hudson, and Tiffany Haddish. Common, once celebrated as a conscious rapper with wisdom and maturity, now faced a reputation as a serial heartbreaker who simply couldn't commit. Fans dragged up receipts from his past, pointing out how every woman, Erykah Badu, Serena Williams, Taraji P. Henson, Angela Rye, and Tiffany Haddish had a similar story. Sweet beginnings, glowing public appearances, then silence and heartbreak. Jennifer Hudson had now joined that infamous list, and it was starting to look less like coincidence and more like a pattern. Jennifer, on the other hand, was left to pick up the pieces. For someone who had already survived unimaginable tragedy and heartbreak, this public humiliation was yet another wound. Reports claimed she felt blindsided, embarrassed, and betrayed. Not just by Common, but by the fact that Tiffany Haddish turned her pain into punchlines. What should have been her great love story had turned into gossip fodder, with her dignity caught in the middle. And Tiffany. She had fully embraced her role as the commentator of chaos. Every shady remark, every sly joke, every laugh at Jennifer's expense became part of her unofficial revenge tour. To her, this wasn't about bitterness anymore. It was about vindication. In Tiffany's eyes, Jennifer was finally learning the same lesson she once had. Common might sound like forever, but his actions prove otherwise. Social media was on fire, with debates raging non-stop. Some fans sided with Jennifer, calling Tiffany cruel for mocking another woman's heartbreak. Others cheered Tiffany on, claiming she was only saying out loud what everyone else was thinking. But the one thing nearly everyone agreed on? Common's reputation as a changed man was gone. He wasn't the victim, he wasn't misunderstood. He was just another player in Hollywood, running the same game with a different face. In the end, Tiffany got her satisfaction, Jennifer got her heartbreak, and Common got exposed. And, while this chapter may eventually fade into the background of celebrity gossip, one thing is certain. Whenever Common shows up with his next girlfriend, the internet will already be waiting, ready to remind the world exactly how this story ended.